Sleight of Mind, Educational Definitions, and Examples by J. Claude McDaniel.
There was no parade, no doorbell, no sudden tearful phone call asking come home. Just another evening where Robert sat at his kitchen table, staring at a birthday card he had mailed a month ago, one that he knew would never reach his daughter's hands. And yet, he still mailed another card the next day. For parents like Robert, alienation was not marked by dramatic court battles or shouting matches. It was a slow, soul-grinding ache of being erased day by day, not just from a child's life, but from their memories, their milestones, and eventually their heart. And somehow, they had to find a way to live in that emptiness without letting it consume them. 1. Accepting what cannot be controlled. Robert had learned through agony that he could not argue his way back into his daughter's life. He could not force her to see the truth before she was ready. Acceptance was not surrender. It was survival. I cannot control the timing of healing. I can only control how I wait. 2. Rebuilding identity beyond parenthood. At first, Robert felt like a man with no purpose, but gradually, he found meaning again in mentoring teenage boys at a local shelter. Boys who needed a steady presence. Boys who needed the very thing he still had to give: unconditional love. In helping others, he discovered pieces of himself that alienation hadn't managed to destroy. 3. Documenting love in the quiet. Every Sunday night, Robert wrote a letter to his daughter. He never knew if he would give them to her one day, or if they would remain tucked away in a weathered shoebox. But he wrote anyway, letters about how proud he was, how much he missed her laugh, how he never stopped cheering for her, even from a distance. It wasn't just about one day telling his side of the story. It was about staying connected to hope, for finding strength in safe spaces. At first, Robert kept his grief hidden. Friends didn't understand. Family didn't want to pick sides. But eventually, he found an online support group of alienated parents, people who spoke his language of invisible loss. In their shared stories, he found validation. In their resilience, he found the strength to keep going. 5. Living a life that invites return. Robert knew that when his daughter came looking for him, what she found mattered. He didn't want her to find bitterness, accusations, or a man stuck in the past. He wanted her to find a man still living with kindness, humor, and hope, the father she remembered, even if the memories were buried deep. So he built that life, not for the court, not for appearances, but because love, real love, demands nothing less. Robert walks past his daughter's favorite bookstore. He pauses, smiles softly, and buys a book she would have loved, a fantasy novel about bravery and return. He wraps it carefully, labels it with her name, and tucks it away, because one day she will come. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not for years. But love, real love, is patient. And when she does, there will be proof waiting for her. Proof that he never gave up. Proof that he never stopped loving her. Proof that, even though silence, he chose to cope by choosing love again and again. Coping with alienation is not about forgetting. It's about remembering who you are, even when others don't. It's about living fully, loving fiercely, and preparing quietly for the day the heart that was turned away finds its way back home. In the silence, in the waiting, and in the life, you build despite the loss. You are not losing. You are living. And love those lives on, even in the absence, is never truly defeated. If you've made it to this final page, you've walked a road that few truly understand. You've endured pain that has no name and loss that leaves no visible wound. You've been silenced in rooms where lies were believed, erased from memories you helped create, and punished for loving too deeply. And yet, here you are, not broken, not bitter, not lost. You are still standing, and that means something. This is your declaration, a message to yourself, to your children, to the system that failed you, and anyone who ever doubted your strength. I am a parent, not a perfect parent, not a parent who was always heard, not a parent who always won, but a parent who never stopped loving, never stopped trying, never stopped showing up, even in silence. I did not choose alienation. I did not ask for the manipulation, the false stories, the doors that closed without warning. But I chose not to become what was done to me. I chose not to hate. I chose not to retaliate. I kept my integrity when it was easier to scream. I told the truth when lies filled the room. I preserved evidence not to attack, but to protect. I held space for my child in my heart, even when they were no longer in my arms. I forgive myself for the moments I fell apart, for the nights I couldn't sleep, for the anger I carried, and the guilt I could never quite let go. I am human. I am hurt. I am healing. I will no longer measure my worth by what others said, by what the alienator claimed, by what the child, under pressure or pain, was taught to believe. I know who I am. I know what I gave, and I know what I deserve. I am not erased. I am not replaced. I am not defeated. I am still here, loving quietly, living fully, and hoping boldly. And one day, if and when my child finds their way back to me, I will be ready. Not with shame, not with anger, but with open arms and an open heart, because that is the kind of parent I chose to be. Always. To every targeted parent reading this, your story may never be told in the courtroom. Your sacrifices may never be understood by those who cause your pain. But your love, your patience, your persistence, they matter. They are powerful, and they are not in vain. May you walk forward from these pages with your head high, your spirit steady, and your truth intact. You are not alone. You are not invisible. You are the parent who never gave up, and that will always matter.
Thank you for viewing Parental Alienation, Sleight of Mind by J. Claude McDaniel.